Hey gang, Doc Fortune here, and I'm on a mission. You see, for most of my life, superheroes have been my spiritual and moral guides on the road to adulthood. I realized that while the heroes have done so much for me, I haven't done much for them. And as I sat on the sidelines, people who didn't like or understand them took control of their stories. Now a chorus of critics take the time to tear these terrible 2-bit depictions down, and rightfully so. But someone needs to remind everyone what the best in these heroes should look like. So I'm stepping up to the plate to take a swing, and to help show how these heroes can be restored to greatness once again, starting with Batman. So what immediately comes to mind when you hear the name Batman? Is it the look? The toys? The car? Those are iconic elements, but they run skin deep. What we want to get at is what is essential about Batman. Batman's story begins with just about the worst thing that can happen to anyone, the death of a loved one. We instantly connect with young Bruce Wayne because there isn't a single one of us exempt from the pain of loss. It's something we all confront sooner or later. It's universal, archetypal, real major arcana. But what really captivates us is what Batman does in the face of this tragedy. He swears an oath, and he says, "I swear by the spirit of my parents to avenge their deaths by spending the rest of my life warring on all criminals." The years of youth pass by Batman as he learns the tricks of his trade, training with many masters. This would be the start of Batman's long, hard road to excellence. But if you only take one thing away from his origin, it should be this. With hard work and dedication, you can change your tragedies into triumph. So you might ask, why does the world need Batman? Sure, a tragic murder requires a response, but vigilantism is shunned by civilized societies the world over. Why not just let the police handle it? In his classic Batman Year One, Frank Miller shows Bruce Wayne returning from 12 years of training to a Gotham where the police are entirely compromised by organized crime. With Batman's help, Commissioner Gordon is at least able to clean up the police force, so Gotham no longer needs a mass vigilante, right? Well, it's not that simple. You see, Batman adopted a mythic mantle to wage his Cape Crusade. This elevated the stakes above just cops and robbers, as mythic heroes invite mythic foes. You might think of Batman's character development in 3 phases that together make something bigger. Let's imagine the first phase as Batman's Cape Crusader phase. He's a gothic mystery man, a two-fisted pulp hero who wages a one-man war on crime under the cover of night. But you can't just punch your way out of a Riddler death trap or Joker poisoning the water supply. As the stakes raise, Batman must learn the flaws and failings of his foes. He must become the world's greatest detective. Batman is a psychologist, a tactician, and a detective without parallel. It's such a defining element that there's a TV trope for it, the Batman Gambit. A Batman Gambit is a plan that relies on your opponent doing exactly what you would expect them to do. He knows them better than they know themselves. The classic picture of Batman requires one final piece to be complete: Dick Grayson, aka Robin the Boy Wonder. Batman and Robin share an all-too-familiar tragic origin, but fortunately for Robin, when someone is in need, Batman always steps up. With Batman as a father, Dick Grayson went on to become a founding Teen Titan and DC's most successful legacy hero, Nightwing. Batman is a father figure that raises the future generations of heroes. Robin is the original sidekick that set the standard for all others. Without Batman, there's no Robin, and without Robin, there's no one to lead the next generation. If you take one thing away from Batman's role as part of the dynamic duo, I hope it's that he does not leave suffering children to fend for themselves. I put this together because after a decade or more of lackluster depictions, I wonder if anyone even knows what a good portrayal of Batman looks like anymore. When you take the Cape Crusader, the world's greatest detective, and the dynamic duo together, you get a more complete image, the Dark Knight. A knight is a strong warrior who lives by a moral code. Batman's code is to war against violent crime that leaves children as orphans. But a knight cannot win by strength and morality alone, as Ned Stark learned the hard way. You have to be cunning and prepared, like a great detective. A knight trains a squire, and the best squires go on to be great knights themselves. Batman is a brawler, a master martial artist who fights like the devil because victory means life and defeat means death. Think about the famous elevator fight from Captain America Winter Soldier. Where in the last 10 years has Batman had a scene like that? And all this really gets to something deeper. Batman needs to be heroic. He's generous, benevolent, and like his parents, he's philanthropic to all people. Some say his enemies are a reflection of his darkness, but they actually reflect what he would become were he to give in to the darkness. In the film Crisis on Two Earths, Batman explains to his evil foil, Owlman, "We both looked into the abyss, but when it looked back at us, you blinked." When the darkness of life confronts us, villains succumb to it, but heroes keep sight of what matters and rise to meet the challenge. Time and again, in so many ways, Batman reminds us that we can face the darkness of life with strength and purpose. As I bring this to a close, I just want to say there's so much to the Batman mythos, from the villains to the supporting cast, that I couldn't cover it all at once. I hope I've been able to show the aspects I believe are most essential about his character, as these elements help me find meaning in hard times. All the art for this video was done by me, Doc Fortune, so if you like what you watched, please like, subscribe, and share, and you can check out more of my work at the links down below.